Hello and welcome to yet another YouTube video here on this channel. Today we are talking a little more broadly about productivity, and I'm going to talk about how I personally am able to be as productive as I am. And I'm not saying that I am the perfect example, because I still procrastinate and I still do things that I probably should not do, and I will mention those as well. But I have been able to have a job to run or co-run a clothing brand, and to be able to post at least one YouTube video every single day. I think the average is one every day, because I've had days where I haven't filmed, and I have days where I have actually filmed multiple and published multiple YouTube videos, and I've been able to stay consistent. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about how I am actually able to do that, because it isn't necessarily the tools that I'm using. Again, I will talk a little bit more about that later on in this video. But let's first start off with the mistakes I have made. So there have been multiple mistakes I have made when I first got into productivity and when I first tried to become more productive. And we have to go back a few years, because the first time I got into productivity apps and productivity in general was back when I was 20 years old. So back in 2019, 2020, around that time, I got into productivity apps and I tried to become more productive. The problem is that it didn't happen at all, and I relied on the wrong things to try and become more productive, because I had some rules. One of them was that I just needed to be more disciplined, which can work for some people. I think that there are better ways of looking at it than just thinking, oh, if I am able to be more disciplined, I will achieve more and do more, and everything will be great. So in my case, the discipline part, the suffer and just go through it, push yourself through it, be disciplined, didn't work at all. I ended up getting burnt out, and I've done this several times. So that didn't work at all. I also kind of used the wrong tools for the specific job I wanted them to do. So in the term wrong tools, I'm not necessarily talking about that the tools weren't good enough. They just didn't work for me and my specific use case. So I used Trello a lot to manage both tasks and social media ideas. I've been doing this social media thing for a long time. And I sort of got discouraged when I felt like the tool wasn't helping me the way I thought it would. So there are two things there. The first one is that I used the wrong tool. The second one is that I actually thought that a tool or multiple tools could solve all of my problems. So that's the two main mistakes I have made. Now let's talk about what I've actually done that has worked. So in order to do that, we need to look a little bit into what I'm actually doing with my life. So I have a day job where I work in social media, or I work in social media marketing, organic social media marketing, and I also do some work around project management and being able to set up project management tools, for example, Microsoft Loop, Planner, things like that. I do a bit of that as well, because that's one of the things I'm really passionate about. As you may have figured out by this YouTube video, the second thing I'm really passionate about is actually mental health. So those go hand in hand. But that's what I do at my job. What I do on my YouTube channel is just film the videos I want to film every single day. I just come up with an idea and I film that specific idea. And it is always an idea I'm passionate about and have some knowledge about, because I've spent a lot of time on it. And the third thing I do is that I co-founded a clothing brand, which I work on together with my co-founder. Again, a thing I am very, very passionate about. Fashion. I've always been into fashion. I love suits and I love combining colors and trying to be creative with my outfits. So um, I am always able to do something I enjoy, and I think that is really important. I think that you can be productive even though you aren't doing a thing that you enjoy. So I have had jobs where I don't necessarily enjoyed or didn't necessarily enjoy the thing I was doing, but I was still able to be productive because I was always looking forward to coming home and filming a YouTube video. So my main point is that in order to be more productive, you have to actually do things you enjoy doing. It is so much easier if you like doing something to be able to be consistent and productive doing that thing. I almost never procrastinate when I'm filming these YouTube videos. Why? Because that's something I love doing. I love spending time in front of the camera and trying to get better at the craft of making good YouTube videos. And I'm also sort of detached from the results. So that means that I wouldn't say that I don't care about the amount of subscribers or views a YouTube video gets. I would rather say that I try not to think too much about it. I try to rather think about the things I can improve for the next video. And I spend a lot of time on that. And I also always tell myself that I need to be patient because you can't get good at something by doing it just a couple of weeks or even a year or two. You have to actually spend a lot of time doing that. And that is something I remind myself of every single day. So when I'm detached sort of from the result and I also enjoy doing it, it is so much easier to be productive. The same goes for my day job, which is with social media and sometimes with productivity apps. So what I do on my spare time is actually also my job, which is just amazing. I am really lucky to have the possibility to actually do that. So that's those two. And the third one is a clothing brand which I co-founded. And one of the reasons for why I joined this clothing brand was because I struggled to find a job in fashion. So I am trying to make my own job, and it is just so much easier to be able to be productive when you love the thing you are doing. The last thing I wanted to touch on is the tools that you use. So I wouldn't say that a tool is necessarily going to make you more productive. So if you use, just as an example, if you use Obsidian or you use Notion or you use Tooz, Lazy, Amy, or whatever it is, one of those won't make you more productive than some of the others. The tools do not actually make you more productive. What the tools can actually do, and why I talk about or made the video, these tools make me more productive. And the video I made that was about the tools I used also touched on this. A tool can help you become more productive if you use it. So if you prefer to use Notion, if you enjoy using Notion rather than Obsidian, Notion will make you or help you become more productive simply because you will use the app a lot more. So let me try and explain that a little bit deeper. So what do we use these productivity tools for? We use them to remember things, remember ideas, tasks, and so on. We use our calendar to remember events. We may use a focus timer in order to actually try and stay focused for a set period of time. And you could have probably the best app out there, but if you do not use it, it won't have any effect. That's what I mean with the idea that one app isn't necessarily better than another. It is just about what you prefer to use, because the most important thing with any productivity app is the fact that you actually have to use it and you actually have to stick with it for a while. That's at least what I think. And I also say that the app doesn't necessarily make you more productive. It helps you become more productive, but in the end you actually have to do the work that you have to do. So you can have all of the notes out there on a specific topic, but if you don't write an article about it, you actually haven't done the job. Just an example. So in order to be more productive, you have to actually do the work, but those apps can make it easier for you to actually do the work. So in my case, the note-taking app I am using right now is Lazy, and there are several reasons why I use it, but I mainly use it to help spark creativity. So if I do not have a YouTube video idea like I didn't have today, I just didn't have a video I wanted to film today, I went into my note-taking app and I started looking at my notes and some of my journal entries in order to be able to spark some sort of creativity. And I came up with this idea, and I had a lot of notes containing different things I wanted to mention in a video like this. So all of my segments are actually notes that I have inside of my note-taking app. And that's what I mean with helps you become more productive. It makes it easier to become more productive, but it won't necessarily make you more productive, if that makes sense. I think it makes sense. Let me know in the comments if it doesn't make sense. And that was it for today's YouTube video. As usual, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below and I will try to get to them as soon as I can. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope to see you again quite soon.